Did you know that the oldest fossils discovered carbon dated 3.7 billion years ago forms of bacteria-like shapes? The fossils contain evidence of stromatolites, a layer of sediment packed together by ancient water-based bacteria colonies. And this could push back the origins of life in the fossil record by 220 million years. So, bacteria is widely considered as the first form of life to appear on Earth, which was around 4 billion years ago. For the first 3 billion years of Earth, all living things are microscopic, and bacteria is the dominant force that time. Did you also know that viruses are generally considered a non-living thing? Not all scientists agree with it, but although they can evolve over time, they cannot carry out metabolic processes or break down food to create energy. They also cannot independently form proteins, nor replicate without a living host cell. So, in a way, they can be considered the zombies of the microscopic world. Virus origins are still up for debate. Some say that a genetic material jump ship from one cell to another to form the first virus, while others say that it could be from a persistent cell that just won't die, and others think that they could be the first replicating entity on Earth and was way older than any other cells. No one still knows for now. Bacteria can be found everywhere on Earth, in the soil, rocks, oceans, snow, on plants, animals, and even on humans. In fact, on each human body, there are 10 times more bacteria than human cells on that body. So, if you think about it, we are more made out of bacteria than human cells. One would wonder, does bacteria live in human bodies? Or does humans live on a swarm of bacteria? Viruses, on the other hand, can only be found on living things. Since they cannot survive alone, viruses die when there's no living host cells that they can feed on. They can live for several hours on some non-living surfaces, but eventually they will die out. Maybe viruses should learn not to kill their host, so that they would also live longer, right?
Are you talking about me?
That's right, I am talking about you, Mr. SARS-CoV-2. Many bacteria eat starches and sugars, which can be found from most of the organic matters. Other than that, we basically eat the same thing, since many bacteria also live in our mouth and take share of what we eat. Bon appetit! While viruses, considering that they are technically non-living thing and unable to do metabolic processes, do not need to eat. Viruses don't want expensive food, money, love, world peace, nor any grand gesture from the universe. Not even the upcoming PS5. Their goal in life is just one simple thing, to duplicate themselves. More about that later. Bacteria reproduce through a process called binary fission, which means a single bacterium clones itself and then splits up into two. On a right temperature and available nutrients, they can reproduce rapidly and make almost 17 million new bacteria within an hour. Humans are still in the early stages of cloning, and yet, these microorganisms have already mastered it 3.5 billion years ago. Not fair. Viruses have no ability to reproduce by itself. but it is clever enough to look for someone who can do it for them. Every cell in a human body are machines that creates proteins which follows our DNA code instructions. When a virus invades a cell, it overrides the human cell DNA code and replaces it with its own DNA code. When this happens, the machine that produces proteins now follows the virus instructions and creates copies of viruses instead. This created virus then goes to the other cells and hacks their DNA code instructions again and repeats the process of hacking. Talk about persistent hackers, right? I'm afraid that's all we have for this video, but don't be sad, we have one more episode coming. Watch out in a week or two for the conclusive part 3. Creating this kind of video takes a lot of effort and time, so I'd appreciate it so much if you can subscribe to the channel and share the video. I will see you in the next one. Nela Suj for watching. Novaer.